I watched a really good game yesterday, and post game, I had a few thoughts, a few notes, let's say. The game was good. The game itself was really good. It's more about the experience of watching the game. It felt harder than it needed to be. Just for a little bit of context, this is not really about the game or one specific game or one specific sport or a specific channel. This is really about the experience of trying to watch a sport and the broadcast or the offering, the I guess what you call like the presentation of the game, right? So sometimes you're trying to watch a game and the game seems overproduced at times. Like there's a lot of cuts. They're talking about so many other things that you necessarily might not really care about as a sports fan because you're trying to watch the game itself, right? And I always notice whenever I pay more attention to the broadcast in the commercials and what the commentators are saying more than the actual game, that feels like I'm not really enjoying the game as much because my attention is being taken away from what I came here to watch in the first place, which was the game, the sport, like whatever it is that I'm watching, right? Um, when there's over commentating, over like too many graphics, more explanation than there needs to be, that affects the whole viewing experience, right? And to that point, the commentary. I remember once I was watching, I think it was an NFL game on CBS. I don't remember if it was a playoff game, but it definitely was the Kansas City Chiefs. And Tony Romo was on the call with Jim Nance, I think. Man, at some point, it felt like Tony Romo was in the quarterback position and basically calling the game from that position. Not as a commentary sitting outside watching and saying stuff and leaving a lot of dead space for you to hear the crowd and all that. No. Like he was literally picking apart like each play. Okay, so there's gonna be this. Okay, so that guy's gonna ooh, okay, I have an opening here. Okay. It just felt like you were so immersed into what Patrick Mahomes, which was the quarterback for the Chiefs in that game, was actually seeing and doing, and it just felt so immersive. And I don't remember any other time where he really got it that good, right? Sometimes, yes, he'll tell you, okay, so he has these options, but that specific game felt so immersive. He did such a good job of just making you part of the game instead of, the broadcast being overproduced and they're talking about a bunch of stuff that you don't really care about as a true sports fan who's here to watch the game, right? So that goes into my next point, which is like the flow interruption. There's a lot of interruption at times that is not needed, right? So, for example, after maybe like give me a little bit more of the players. Like, let me see a little bit more of the sideline. Let me see the interactions between the coaches. Like, how is the intensity? Are they yelling? Like, who's on the sideline, kind of galvanizing the troops? Like, instead of trying to sell me something else or trying to tell me about another story about another company that did that, and there's so much selling, and even now I see it, these interruptions that I think a few weeks ago, before the end of 2025, I was watching a Barcelona game on ESPN, and they were putting in-game commercial, and this is not the Latino ESPN. I think this was ESPN Deportes, which means in the United States, and they were putting these in-game commercials just like the NFL Red Zone does on Sundays now, with the banner that comes up, and it kind of, and of course there's an airplane. And it kind of took me off guard because I was like, wait, ESPN Deportes, this is a first, this is new. And I realized in ESPN, when there's football, soccer, whatever, however you want to call it, I call it football, but anyway, where there's football, there's never that. Like, they never give you those kind of commercials. Yes, I've seen it on other Latin channels, like I've seen it on Telemundo, I've seen it on ESPN Argentina, I've seen it on different channels, Latin America channels and some Caribbean channels, but ESPN, so that tracks because now ESPN is also owners of the NFL Red Zone, which was bought by Disney and all that, whatever. Go do some research and figure that out if you don't already know. But yeah, so that took me a little off guard, and I was like, there's so many interruptions now when we watch sports, and it sometimes it kills the flow of the momentum of the game. Like, you can be so immersed, so like, okay, like what's next, and you're waiting for what's next, and then they pop up a commercial or they pop up a story about someone or some company or something that they're trying to advertise to you, and it's like, dude, I'm here to watch the game. Like, let me watch the game, right? You have so many other points to do your commercials, but it's more like a constructive frustration, right? So it's not really like a complaint because they have, like I've said before, they have to make their money. So somehow the money is going to be made because these players have to be paid, everybody has to be paid, so they have to make their money. But at the same time, I feel like it shouldn't get to the point where it's frustrating me as the sports fan because there's so many interruptions and there's so many cuts and too many other things being sold and talked about. And when I'm here for the game, I want to see the players, the game, the action on the field, like the stadium. Are there people like doing crazy stuff or dancing, or that? Which is why, takes me to another point, which is why I love watching NBA League Pass, because they might give you a commercial here and there, but after that they come back to the stadium, and you're watching the fans inside of the stadium when they're throwing sometimes they're throwing t-shirts or gifts, or they have like the dancing challenge on the big screen and people are dancing and all that. And all you see the people during the halftime or the timeouts that are trying to make the half court shot and all that. I love watching NBA League Pass just for that, because that's what I want to see. I want to see what's going on, not trying to watch 20 million overproduced commercials over and over the same thing. Even though we'll probably have to do a segment on commercials, because there are some pretty good commercials. So we'll have to think if there's time. We'll have to think about doing a section on commercials, because there's some pretty good commercials from watching all these sports. So yeah, the lingering thought is that I still enjoyed the game, right? I still enjoyed the game. It was a good game, but I enjoyed it a little bit less, right? Because it felt a little bit more frustrating and annoying with all the cuts and all the commentary and extras, right? And yeah, that kind of like stay with me, and that's what I wanted to note. So usually after games, after watching many games or whatever, I have some thoughts, and or I have some notes, and I'm like, like a little bit of like a reflecting thing of the game. And this one stuck with me. It was like, dude, why so much? Why so much? Just let me enjoy the game. But yeah, as always, those were just some of my notes. Thank you for watching, and yeah, see you next time.